Now, Senator John Thune of South Dakota he is the Senate Republican whip. Senator Thune, thank you. It's been a morning around here. There's a lot going on in that Senate vote on the resolution against the president's declaration of a national emergency. We know 6 Republicans voting to rebuke the president's decision there. What do you think?
Well, there are, as you point out, a number, at least a handful of Republicans that intend to vote for the resolution of disapproval, but the point is it won't be anywhere near the number to override the president's veto. The president will veto this. It's got a veto-proof majority, or I should say he doesn't have a veto-proof majority in the House of Representatives. They will be able to sustain his veto, and so I think in the end the president's going to be able to move forward, which is what's the most important issue here, and that is that he has the resources that he needs to make sure that we are defending and securing our border in a way that protects the American people from all the elements that are coming across there, whether that's traffickers, gangs, you look at drugs, all those things are coming across our southern border. It's important that the president be able, through his administration, to protect our border and protect the American people.
Obviously, Senator Thune, everything you just said would show you are in full support of the president's decision to do this.
I think it's important that he have the resources that he needs, Sandra. We have members, and I understand that, who are concerned about how he's accessing those resources, but I think the one thing that everybody agrees on is that this is an emergency, and it's an emergency from a security standpoint. It's an emergency, obviously, from a humanitarian standpoint, and that the president has the authority under the law, which we gave him. Congress gave the administration or the executive branch of our government back in 1976 the authority to do this. I think that's established. There are a lot of our members who are concerned about the precedent it sets going forward, would like to see changes in that law, and I'm certainly open to and supportive of efforts to do that. But for right now, we have a crisis that has to be addressed. The president is taking decisive action in order to address it, and I expect that he'll be able to move forward, because the vote today, irrespective of how it turns out, is not going to be of a sufficient number that it would override a veto that ultimately will come from him.
Let me tell you what the president has said so far today on this. He tweeted out a vote for today's resolution by Republican senators is a vote for Nancy Pelosi, crime, and the open border Democrats. If at a later date Congress wants to update the law, I will support those efforts. But today's issue is border security and crime. Don't vote with Pelosi. He would be referencing those senators like Mitt Romney, who just became the 6th to vote yes on this resolution against Trump's national emergency declaration. And in the statement he made, backing up his vote, Mitt Romney, he said, I will vote today for the resolution of disapproval. This is a vote for the Constitution and a vote for the balance of powers that is at its core, Senator Thune. He said that for the executive branch to override a law passed by Congress would make it the ultimate power rather than a balancing power. To that you say what?
I think that right now we've got a crisis at the border. We've got gangs and drugs and traffickers. We all hear it. I hear it in my state of South Dakota. A lot of the methamphetamine problem that we have, which is the cases of, at least in one part of our state, tripled over last year, and it's all coming across the southern border. And I know that we have members who are concerned about separation of powers issues. Those are valid concerns. But right now, the president has the authority under the law, the authority that Congress gave him under the law, to do this. And I don't think there's any question that we have an emergency, and he's trying to react to a crisis in a way that protects the American people and tries to get a very perilous and chaotic situation at our border under better control. And I think in the end he's going to have obviously the authority and the resources to do that, because the vote today is not in any way going to change the ultimate outcome.
So finally, let me ask you about this, Senator Thune. Just looking at the names here, as I mentioned, Senator Romney just became the 6th yes vote to disapprove of that declaration. On the record so far as yeses are Senators Paul, Collins, Murkowski, Tillis, and Lee. Do you expect others?
There could be, sure. I mean, I think there are perhaps a handful of others. We sort of know where most people are at this point, and we won't ultimately know until people have an opportunity to cast their votes this afternoon. And there's still some discussions going on with the White House about statements that the president might make. He's already made, he's tweeted this morning, I think, a statement that makes pretty clear his position. But as we continue to have these conversations and discussions, we'll see how that might affect the vote total. But again, the point here is there won't be anywhere near the number of votes that would be necessary to override the president's veto.
Got it. Senator Thune, thank you. I know it's been a busy morning there on the Hill. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Jeff Van Drew, Democrat from New Jersey, member of the Problem Solvers Caucus, Blue Dog Coalition. How you doing, sir? And good morning to you. There's such a keen focus on this election already. What do you think about the argument the president's making there about a strong economy, good markets, a lot of money?
Well, there's certainly some truth to that, and the markets have been good, but whether we can rely on that for year after year after year is going to be interesting. I think what's most important when he speaks about a national emergency, look, and let me be straight out, I am a bipartisan individual. I don't necessarily think that everything the president does is wrong automatically or right automatically. I judge each situation individually. I believe in bipartisanship, and I know in this House and in this date and time, it's a very difficult goal to achieve, but I'm going to keep pushing for it. However, this is where I do think we've overreached. I believe that there are reasons for national emergencies. There have only been 2 national emergencies that have occurred recently. One of them was during both of them actually were during presidents that shared the same name, the Bushes. One of them was for 9/11, and the other one was for the Iraq situation.
So you're clearly against this one, but you don't disagree that this is a problem on the border.
Oh, it's a real problem. It's absolutely a real problem.
How do you get to the bottom of it? I mean, just yesterday, the White House, the president's talking about the amount of fentanyl that comes in. Well, that affects the people you represent, sir.
Absolutely, and the way that you get to the problem of it, first of all, is to, again, work together, be more bipartisan. I believe that we should have a panel of experts who are non-political completely to come up with a plan that's got the approval of both sides. And most of all, I think we should spend and use the $22 billion that are there for impermeable structure, that are there for beds, that are there for more troops.
Congress has fumbled that football for decades, and I know we're not going to resolve that today. I just want to get at this other topic here, okay, because Beto O'Rourke is in the news. I mean, he broke the announcement earlier today. Here he is in Iowa talking about the Green New Deal, okay? Let's go ahead and play that, and I'll ask you about it.
Some will criticize the Green New Deal for being too bold or being unmanageable. But I tell you what, I haven't seen anything better that addresses this singular crisis that we face, a crisis that could, at its worst, lead to extinction.
I don't know how you feel about his candidacy, but I think generally speaking, whether it's O'Rourke or others running for the primary on the Democratic side, how concerned are you about them tugging your party too far left?
It's a concern, and I think it's important that all those who are in the middle, and that's what I am. You know, I will still maintain that most Americans are in the middle. They're a little bit right of the middle or a little bit left of the middle. The idea that we need to do something about climate change is clear, but the Green New Deal is too much, too radical, too fast, and would change the entire structure of our nation. I am a capitalist. I'm not a socialist. I'm a compassionate capitalist. I believe that we can have a safety net. I believe that we can ensure that people are taken care of, but at the same time, the nation that is based upon our Constitution and our Declaration of Independence is a capitalist nation.
And then final question on that. Yeah, I get it. Does too far left win or lose in 2020 against this economy and this president?
No, we're so early into everything. There could be other candidates that may come forward. Joe Biden hasn't really indicated what he's doing yet. This is going to be what I call one of those deals where the proof is in the pudding and the devil's in the details. We're going to find out. We're a long way off. Who would have ever thought that Donald Trump would be the president of the United States 2 years ago? We don't know what it's going to be yet. We have a lot to go. But I will tell you this, and this is an important point. People in the Democratic Party must realize that it's important to have people in the middle and to have the blue dogs as part of the process, because I believe that you can't win without the middle being part of the process. I think it's very important.
It's hard to hear because I know there's a lot of background noise there. Who do you support?
At this point, we're looking at everybody, but we're just waiting for candidates to make their announcements.
Jeff Van Drew, come on back, okay? The Democrat from New Jersey. You sound like a moderate. We'll see how far that goes. Thank you for your time.
Well, it's gone a long way over a lot of years through the state Senate and the Assembly and other offices I've held.
Thank you very much, sir. We'll talk again.
It's great to be with you. Sorry for the background noise. It is not of my doing.
Understood. Thank you.